Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about three major differences between the versions of the Tornado Custom that I think you guys all need to be aware about. That's right, so you might not know this, but there are a bunch of different versions of the Tornado that you can actually find in-game. You can find a regular hardtop one, you can find a soft top one, you can find a hardtop rusty version, you can find the mariachi one. There's a lot of different versions of the Tornado, and they all have slight differences that can be done to them when you take them into Benny's shop. Some of them can be pretty significant and some of them can be pretty minor, but can still have some pretty cool effects on the car. So we're going to be talking about all of those in this video. So before we get started, I am going to run through a little bonus, and that is something I talked about slightly the other day. In my video, I said I wasn't sure if the Mariachi Tornado could be taken into Benny's, but it turns out that it cannot. So every version of the Tornado can be taken into Benny's except for the Mariachi one. That's the one with the Mexican flag, the sombrero, and the acoustic guitar sitting in the back. It's also got like the ripped up dashboard and seats. It's a pretty rare vehicle, and I actually think that might be a good thing because it keeps the rareness of that car for those of the people that do have it. So I think that that is pretty awesome from that standpoint. But unfortunately, if that's your only Tornado, you will have to go out and look for a new one because it's not able to be upgraded in Benny's. Okay, so with that out of the way, there's actually a big difference between the types of paint jobs that can be applied to the regular version and the rusty version of the Declasse Tornado. So I'll show you guys this quick example right now, and then we'll kind of break down the process. So you can see I brought this bluish gray rusty Tornado into Benny's Original Motorworks, and you can obviously tell it's rusty. The bumper is completely rusted over, and it's got crazy cracks and dust everywhere. And when I actually go to upgrade it, you'll notice that when it comes clean, after the upgrade fee, it gets this like crazy well-worn paint job on there that looks really awesome. Now, this special worn paint is applied to all the rusty Tornadoes when it's converted and it makes them clean, but it's still kind of a worn paint. It's kind of like a satin-looking paint job. I'm calling it a mix between like a matte and a metallic. It's not as flat as a matte, but it's not as shiny as the metallic. And it overall offers this really cool, really awesome paint job. So you might be wondering, well, how do I go about getting one of these rusty Tornadoes? Well, it's actually pretty simple. I was able to do it twice for this video, and I was able to find them pretty consistently. So I would imagine you would be able to do the same. So basically what I did is I just went up to Sandy Shores, I called my mechanic and actually got him to bring my Tornado Custom, one that I had already like customized and whatnot, and I just drove around Sandy Shores for like 1 or 2 minutes until I saw a rusty version of the Tornado. Now I found two, which you'll see a little bit later in the video. One of them was like this blue-gray, another one was like a red, but I think there's 20 different variants that you can have of the rusty version that will all create these unique individual colors. So hopping back over to Benny's, you can clearly see right now that the color I've created is super unique, one that you like can't get by messing with the random color palette in classic, matte, metallic. It's just something that you can't do. Now, something else that's pretty unique is you can actually apply a pearlescent to this color by using the pearlescent trick. If you guys don't know that, I'll run you through it real quick. Essentially, you click on metallic, you then back out without selecting any color. You go down to plates, change your license plate, go back to respray, and then select pearlescent, and you should be able to apply a pearlescent color to this well-worn paint job. So I think for this one, I went with a cream just because I think that's the overall color of the top I was going. And for this first one, this is my final product right here, which I do think looks really, really cool. So overall, it's got like a bluish baby gray kind of satin color that I think looks really, really incredible. And then I was able to actually find another one. I told you guys it's pretty easy. So I went back up to Sandy Shores. I found another one, and I believe this one actually turned out to be a kind of like rusty red / like burgundy color. So I thought, oh yes, this is going to look awesome. So I did the exact same thing. I brought it back to Benny's Original Motorworks. I upgraded it, customized it, and it turned out into this super rich, deep red color, which I thought looked incredible. And I did something very similar. You know, I just customized it a little bit, added a pearlescent, changed up the roof and the interiors a little bit, and the color turned out spectacular. Really rich, deep red color that, like I said, you can't find anywhere else. So if you have the time, go out and look for one of these rusty Tornadoes because they offer a very unique paint job that cannot be found on a regular street version of the Tornado or one that you purchase off of Benny's website. So that's something to keep in mind if you want a rare paint job, and this can be great for car shows or just showing off to your friends because you're ultimately going to have a paint job that no one else can get. So I thought that that was pretty awesome and definitely a change you guys need to know about. All right, now the second change you guys need to know about is still involving one of the rusty versions of the Tornado, and that is they actually have the option to upgrade the suspension. Now, this was very similar to the Slam Van that we talked about when Lowriders Customs Classic came out. So if you lowered the suspension on the Slam Van, it would have this like crazy effect on the car that made it very fast. And you could do this by upgrading the suspension before actually doing any Benny's modification work. Well, the regular version of the Tornado doesn't even have the option to upgrade suspension. Like if you buy it off Benny's site, you won't have the option to upgrade the suspension. The only one that will is the rusty version. So for this experiment right here, I have essentially lowered the suspension, created a rusty lowrider Tornado custom version, and I'm certainly not sure if there's any difference performance-wise. You know, I didn't go drag testing this Tornado, mainly because I feel like no one is actually going to be, you know, doing legitimate races with this car, but it looks pretty similar visually. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is exactly the same, but you can see I brought them into my garage right here, and on this purple version, it's a regular Tornado Custom without the suspension lowered, and obviously the one I just brought in has the lowered suspension, and they look pretty similar. Now, again, you might find a difference in feel and touch and driving when you do lower the suspension, but I didn't notice anything visually, which I think would ultimately be the most important piece of this. So I'll let you guys make that determination for yourself, but I did not notice any difference when lowering the vehicle to the lowest possible suspension. All right, and finally, last but not least, the third big change we're going to be talking about today is actually the upgrade price for the different versions of the Tornado. So there's supposed to be different versions depending on which one you bring in. A regular one off the street, one you buy on the website, a rusty version, and we obviously know that the mariachi version just simply cannot be upgraded. Now, this is something that's really interesting because when I was recording for this video, I was getting the same price no matter what vehicle I brought in, but that doesn't seem to be true for all of you guys. I even asked on Twitter, you know, what was the upgrade price all you guys had for your Class A Tornado? And a bunch of people were saying, you know, $375,000, you know, $380,000. And I even got a bunch of screenshots from you guys, you know, showing off your upgrade price. And it was, you know, $375,000, $375,000. So I was wondering, you know, why I wasn't getting the same price as everyone else when it came to upgrading these cars. So I kid you not, I literally brought in every version of the Tornado possible. So as you guys clearly saw in my segment we did a few seconds ago talking about the rusty version, the rusty versions I brought in were still $356,000 for the upgrade price. They're traditionally supposed to be more expensive since you aren't buying them from the site. So I wonder why mine wasn't the same. Obviously, the one I bought off of the website, that one was still $356,000, which was totally normal. You expect that one to be that price because you are paying the $30,000 up front to have it purchased and delivered to your garage. But I also went out and found two regular versions off the street. So the first one I ran into, I think, was like a customized gang version, and I brought that in, and it still said $356,000. So I thought to myself, you know, maybe because it was the gang version that it messed up. You know, the game thought it was something else, like a rusty version or already modified one. So I went out and found a regular one. I mean, as regular as it gets, brought it into Benny's, and it was still $356,000. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but there is supposed to be a price discrepancy between the versions of the Tornado that you buy. For example, the one you buy on Benny's site is supposed to be the cheapest to upgrade because you paid that initial $30,000 up front, and the ones you find on the street are supposed to be more expensive because you never paid that initial fee to buy it from his website. So once again, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe it's a glitch from Rockstar. Maybe I just got special and all my versions cost the same to upgrade, but there is a pretty significant price difference. I mean, if you go from $375 to $356, it's about $20,000, and that's, you know, an upgrade or two in the Benny's shop if you wanted to add something to your lowrider. So it is pretty significant, and I'm not sure exactly why I was getting these changes, but I'd love to hear from you guys as well in the comment section on maybe what your upgrade fee was and if I was doing something wrong. I'm pretty sure I tested every version of these lowriders, so I'm not sure, but let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you did go on to enjoy the video, a like rating would of course be awesome, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With out of the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.